Ask Tom on Home Show.
Billy from West Chase has a question about plenum cleaning.
A text says there's dust and mold in there, Tom. Billy writes, I was told during an AC heating unit semi-annual inspection that the inside of my supply air plenum needed cleaning. I was shown pictures that showed a slight buildup of dust and possible mold. The cost to clean this small area or replace the supply air plenum was quite high. After the technician left, I accessed the return air plenum and it was clean, but I did not see a door or a hatch where I could access the supply plenum. Is cleaning this supply plenum a task a homeowner should tackle, Tom?
Well, I got a few questionable comments here. I don't know if they're questionable, but I'm questioning what was in the question. As far as you go up there and you can't find a way to get into plenum, yet they did, and they took a picture on their phone and showed it to you. I would have liked to have you go up and see it firsthand if you could. Now, some people can't get up in the attic. I totally understand. Secondly, if it's really gross and terrible, then you do have to replace it, and it's going to cost you a few bucks to do it. It shouldn't be totally exorbitant, but it depends on who you get, and you can always get a second opinion, and I think that's important in the West Chase area. Call Absolute Comfort Air for a second opinion if you want. But quite frankly, a plenum doesn't, unless there's a problem, it doesn't get cleaned. Now, it doesn't mean there's not a little bit of dust or something in there. It's on everything, and the world is full of that stuff. But as far as it being unhealthy or a problem to you or anything of that nature, my plenums have never been replaced or cleaned for 23 years now, and they're perfectly fine. I have an access door. We can look in them. They're staying dry. If I went in there and tried to vacuum a little dust out, just like your carpet, you'd probably find a little bit, but it's not making my house a mess because I keep the filters changed. So I question about this need of emergency to do this. And as far as spending a lot of money, I wouldn't right now. I'd definitely get a second opinion. And is it done regularly? Not at all. In fact, the only time a plenum is changed is if sometimes you're replacing and putting in a new system, and they'll put a new return air plenum in and redo the ductwork a little bit. Or if it's got a real inherent problem that went on for a long time, you bought a house that nobody ever took care of, never changed the filters, the system was just a mess, you had smokers in the house for 30 years, then you get rid of the thing and you go ahead and replace it.
Now, he said there was a thing in the question that puzzled me too, Tom. He says the supply plenum and is there a plenum on both ends of the air conditioning system?
Most systems have a plenum. It's called the return plenum.
Right.
In my case, I have 7 air returns in my house, right? So I have a whole duct system going into this plenum where the air is going into the system. So I have a return air plenum. I also have a supply plenum. That's where all the ducts are supplying the house. So there's an innie and an outie. And so, yeah, if you have that. Now, a lot of people will have just one filter in a smaller home or in the older homes. They probably don't have a plenum. They probably just have a piece of ductwork going to the back of the system. But return air plenums are pretty common nowadays in the last 25 years or so.
All right. If you have a question, Tom keeps up on this stuff so he can answer you. Now, you go to HomeShowRadio.com, click on that Ask Tom button right there, and you can tap his knowledge by writing a question or sending a video. We're happy to answer them. We do them 7 days a week. You'll find them on our... Oh, by the way, remember you can send us pictures too. Tom loves to get the pictures because It helps us. In this case, it would have been nice to have seen some of those cell phone pictures that he was shown. But anyway, we love to see him.
Oh, it'd be great. Get a copy. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And if he's a responsible tech, wouldn't he be willing to give you copies of those images? I'm just saying.
It's not a proprietary copyright.
Right.
It's just a picture of an old dirty plenum.
Yeah, but this is copyrighted, so don't be copied.
Yes, there you go.
Now, we're happy to share, and you'll find lots of answers on our YouTube channel. You'll find hundreds and hundreds, almost thousands of these videos waiting for you at YouTube. And, of course, we post new ones on our Facebook page all the time. And, of course, at HomeShowRadio.com.